Hello, beautiful, and welcome to your yoga practice. Today's practice is all about tuning in and connecting with mobility, which is this idea that we can move through life with ease and grace. It's so important that we tune in to all the joints and all these mechanics of our body that help make sure that we can connect with flexibility and mobility long term, which is truly the fountain of youth. So let's go ahead and grab our yoga mats and let's flow. Wonderful, ladies. So let's go ahead and begin today's practice by sitting in Thunderbolt pose. So what we would like to have happen is for our heels to come into our bottom. If this is a little tight for you, you can sit on a block or sit in Sukhasana. Find whatever posture works well for you. But this posture is wonderful because it helps with digestion. So it aids in good digestion. Also, it helps us have that nice posture. So let's go ahead and begin by finding just a couple of shoulder rolls. Maybe perhaps we close the eyes and just start tuning into that deep yogic breath, and then shoulders rolling forward. Raising our shoulders up to our ears, drawing it up tight, tight, tight. Squeeze, hold, 3, 2, 1, and release. Dropping our right ear to our right shoulder. Let's go ahead and find some just little bit of neck rolls here. Back the other way, just coming halfway up. Just beginning to tune into that physical body. As we start with some nice slow movements for today, this is a wonderful opportunity for us just to connect with that deep yogic breath. Wonderful. Coming up to a neutrality here, let's go ahead and extend our fingertips up to the sky. And we're going to take that left palm and just slightly, just about a pound of pressure, pulling back here, giving yourself that extra little stretch. Switch opposite direction. Go ahead and take those right fingertips, pulling back. And then we're going to go ahead and flip those fingertips of the right palm down, and we can just have like about a half a pound of pressure. Again, just being kind and gentle with ourselves here. And then switch to that left side, getting pulled down to the earth with those fingertips. Breathing deep. And then interlacing those fingers, pressing both palms to the front of the room as we push back with our spine, pushing out here. Breathing deep. Inhale as we elongate the spine, drawing those shoulder blades down, creating that length between the ears and shoulders. And slowly exhale. We're going to open to the right side. So I'm just a gentle opening of the side body here. Inhale forward and slightly opening over to the left side. Beautiful. Coming up center and release, coming into a tabletop position here. Just going to start by finding a couple of cat-cows here, working on that spinal flexibility, and dropping the belly. Gaze is going to go to the sky. Inhale, drawing everything up. Moving at your own time here. So today is all about really tuning into that mobility, which is that flexibility, the ability to move with ease and grace. So it's so important that we really tune into the joints when we're talking about mobility and giving them all the TLC that we can. So we'll be working on the wrists, we'll be working on the shoulders, on the hips, all those important joints, all those important connectors of the body that make everything possible to move with grace and ease. Coming into neutrality once more, we're going to go ahead and draw circles on our yoga mat with our tummy. So we're drawing forward over our wrists and then back through the hips. Drawing forward and then pulling back. Getting a little touch to the wrists here, getting deep into the hips. And then let's switch, go opposite direction. coming into stillness here. We're going to walk our hands out in front of our mat, start drawing the chest down to the ground, allowing our forehead to touch the mat. If that feels a bit too intense, you can always use a yoga block here to create a little bit less distance for your head to travel. And then we're going to allow our shoulder blades to dip down and our booty to go into the sky for a puppy pose. Find that length in the arms. Slowly starting to draw up. Now we're going to come back into a seated position by tucking our toes, coming underneath. And then we're going to go ahead and let our left foot come down, and our right foot is going to stack on top to create this figure 4 type position. Energy going through my toes, so there's flexed feet happening. Inhale the arms up. Exhale as we find our own degree within this pose. So we should be really opening in that back of the hip. Breathing nice and deep. You might notice here that we're not crunching over, but rather having integrity of the spine as we lean into this pose. If you feel any tightness in those hips, see if you can invite yourself with the breath to just send the air deep down into that region of the body. And just ask for a little bit of flexibility, mobility, and release. See if you can soften with the breath, making sure we're not holding any tension in the face, the jaw. And if this feels too intense, as with everything in the yoga practices, we can lessen it. We can come into Sukhasana, which is just easy seated pose, and lean over. That's going to be a little bit less tense on the hips. Or we can just be up here, whatever feels right for us. And slowly, when you're ready, start to rise, placing both feet flat on the mat. We're going to go ahead and just windshield wiper those legs back and forth. Just a nice release here. And then bringing the opposite foot in, and then bringing the one that was on the top last time on the top. So if you're at home, you're getting a little confused, that's just an easy way to go about it. It's just making sure that each leg gets touched. And so now we should feel that nice stretch in the opposite hip. Inhale our arms up. And then exhale, hinging forward at the hip, keeping the integrity of the spine rather than crunching over, and open back. This is a beautiful expansion of these hips, nice deep stretch here, finding that degree that works for you. Energy through the toes. And you might notice that over time you feel just a little bit more of an ability to surrender into the pose, even if it's just a half a centimeter, a tiny bit more. Allow yourself just to find that length. And as we continue and progress in these practices together, they will get easier as your body starts to connect with that flexibility. So this is just a journey, and like any journey, we've got to start somewhere. We all start on our own path. And that's what makes it so fun, is that it's our journey, no one else's. Our opportunity to turn in, building that awareness, and just feeling into what feels right in my body, what feels right for me. And so when we go at this slower pace, it gives us that opportunity to ask these questions, to build this conversation within. when you're ready, slowly start to rise. This time we're going to go ahead and release both feet out in front of us, flex the feet. And we're just going to work on our ankles here a little bit, continuing on this theme of mobility. Let's go ahead and give some circles of the ankle. Now, the ankles oftentimes can be put to work right away if we start running on the treadmill, doing all these things, and perhaps it's cold outside, so we can be prone to rolling ankles. And so, particularly growing up as a dancer, we always had to warm up our ankles. So switch opposite direction. We're just finding some nice little circles here. So when I used to watch TV when I was a kid, we had to do the ABCs with our ankles. So you'd write the alphabet with your ankle. So if you feel like you are prone to kind of having weak ankles, this is an opportunity to strengthen them. We're going to go ahead and flex the feet up nice and tall, pulling that energy back towards your body with those toes. Feel that energy vibrating through the legs. And then we're going to point the toes, pushing forward. Feel the energy now on the top of those shins. So let's continue on with this motion. Flex and point. And maybe just closing the eyes for a moment as we build that awareness of what's going on at an internal level. Feeling all those ligaments and muscles move. And just tuning into that gift of mobility, movement with ease and grace. Wonderful. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take that right foot, we're going to place it so it's flat with the mat or as much as possible, and this leg is going to come behind us for a deer pose. As we inhale, we want to go ahead and shift our energy towards the front of the mat, and then when we're ready, let's go ahead and lean over that right leg. And again, as always, this might not be comfortable for you. You might be up here, whatever feels right. Again, this is all about finding our own degree. And when you're ready, we're going to slowly send the energy over that right shoulder, and we're going to lean back. So we're going to open up to that side body here. Gaze can either go to the sky or down at the ground, whatever feels right for you. It should feel like a nice opening here. And then coming back towards that front of the mat. Inhale to rise, and then we're going to exhale, twisting those knees to the opposite direction, now facing the back of the mat here, so my left leg is nice and flexed. Coming flush here, inhale, and then exhale, coming over, finding your own degree, what feels right for you. When you're ready, slowly sending that energy back over the shoulder. Inhale to rise, pulling that energy up and over. Feeling opening of the side body. Gaze can go to the sky or to the ground. And coming on through, sending that energy now to the center of the mat here. And finding your own degree, we're going to come into a dragonfly pose just for a moment here. If you have blocks or a pillow, you can most certainly use that here for a little bit of stability and support. And we're not going to take this super intense today, so just finding your own degree, all as always, not crunching at the spine, but slightly leaning forward and just lengthening and opening into these legs here. Now, I certainly can go a lot farther than this, but for today, as we focus on mobility, we don't want to push it too far, because if we injure ourselves, then we're actually likely taking away some of our mobility. So this is all about just feeling into that level of yumminess where it's like, that's a stretch, that feels good. But it's never too much. You might notice that I have energy through the toes, flexed feet. going to slowly walk over to my right foot. My hands come on either side of that leg. And maybe they don't. Maybe they stay here. Feel into what feels right for you. And see if you can challenge yourself here to stay grounded into the sit bones. So even though my energy is over this right leg, I'm still grounding in. So both my sit bones are to the ground. And then slowly walking through center and then coming over to your left. Drawing back to center, walking it on up. Let's go ahead and close the gate, legs coming forward. And we're going to come back into that little bit of windshield wiper with our knees, just resetting the legs. Placing our fingertips forward, we're going to go ahead and rise up into a tabletop, reverse tabletop. Being kind and mindful of the neck to not overextend, but gently tucking in so we have integrity of this beautiful elongated spine here. It should be a nice stretch for the arms, opening for the body. And slowly lowering on down, we're going to tuck the toes underneath us, coming into a tabletop position. We're going to take this right foot and loop it across the left, coming and sitting back. And we're going to come into Go Mukasana, cow face pose. And so we're just going to give our beautiful feet a little bit of a massage here. Just taking a moment to tune into this posture. Our goal is to have our knees in alignment as much as possible, but it's okay if they're slightly askew. We're going to inhale, and our arms are going to either connect at our elbows, or maybe they can come into a reverse prayer, or maybe we just bring two fists coming behind. So finding that variation that works for you, and then go ahead and open up at the chest. Gaze slightly lifts. Beautiful. When you're ready, slowly start to rise. Unwind yourself, coming back out. And then challenge yourself here to take that left. See if you can loop it across and see back. And then go ahead and give your beautiful little feet a little love, a little TLC. Finding that alignment here. And then thinking about where you want your placement of your hands to be. Again, reversed prayer. They could grab the elbows, or maybe it's just the two fists behind. Lifting, opening at that chest. Breathing deep. When you're ready, opening your eyes. If they were closed, start unwinding yourself here. So coming into a tabletop position once more, we're going to go ahead and draw our right leg through our hands, finding a moment of stability here, rising up. And we're going to go ahead and inhale the left arm up, and then we're going to exhale, bending it over to the side. So I'm leaning over to the right side, opening up the left side of the body. If you need stability here, you can place your hand on your hip or on your knee. Just being mindful that your knee is over top of your ankle. Breathing nice and deep. Maybe you can hold the leg, whatever feels right for you. Inhale, rise. We're going to go ahead and lean here a little bit deeper now. So we're leaning into that top of the quad. If this feels good for you, you can stay here. If you'd like to go for a little bit more, you can try to reach back and see if you can grab the top of the foot. Opening up that chest tall and proud. Engaging the core. And release. Shoom. Coming back, I'm going to push into a half split here. Toes go to the sky. And then I'm going to allow my forehead to drape towards my shin. Really creating that length and stretch in that hamstring. And then when you're ready, stepping on back, coming back into that tabletop position, taking a moment here to reset by just finding a happy cow. So we're just going to twist side to side, perhaps dropping the belly and rolling it on up. Drop. Just finding a little bit of sway here, pulling that belly up to the sky. Just giving everybody a moment to reset, a little break for the wrists, the ankles, and then we're going to go ahead and take that left foot, draw it up. Taking a moment here to find stability. And then we're going to take the right hand, and then we're going to go ahead and lean over that left side. So my right side of my body is opening up. I'm leaning to the left. My knee is over top of my ankle. When you're ready, we're going to go ahead and dig a little bit deeper here. And if it's in your practice, what you can do is reach back and grab the top of those toes. If your knee is a little sensitive, you can always fold over the mat a little bit. And grabbing in deep. Breathe, chest tall and proud. Engaging the core. And then when you're ready, pushing back, shoom, into half splits. Forehead is going to float towards that shin. Wonderful. And coming back through, pulling it back. We're going to go ahead and open up the knees nice and wide, touching the toes together and pressing back for an extended child's pose. Arms are going to go out ahead, and our third eye or the point between our eyebrows can touch the mat. And breathing nice and deep. And drawing up. I'm going to find a shoulder stretch here, taking our left hand in the center of the mat, releasing our right, swinging it up to the sky for a moment, lift. Exhale, we're going to lace that right hand underneath the left, coming into this beautiful shoulder stretch. I invite you to go ahead and see if it feels right for you. You can extend that left hand out overhead, or maybe it stays in nice and close. Finding your balance, finding your flow, and what feels right for you. Slowly start rising up. Switch the opposite direction. This time, right hand comes into the center of the mat. Left swings up nice and wide. Exhale, thread it on through. Finding that placement of the right hand, perhaps it's out in front with tabletop fingers. Maybe it's in nice and close, or maybe it's up to the sky. Choose your wisdom, choose your path. When you're ready, slowly starting to rise. Coming back into a tabletop position as we start to walk forward with our knees tucking, our toes underneath, scooting onto the tushy here. Start to rise up, and then we're going to go ahead and roll onto our back. Let's go ahead and draw some circles with our knees, opening and closing. Switch opposite direction. And then let's go ahead and take our arms out to a T position. And we're going to go ahead and draw the knees flat to the ceiling. And let's go ahead and allow the legs to fall to one side, but not let them touch the ground just yet. Rolling up, and then twist the opposite direction, using those abdominals to not let the legs touch the ground fully, but using control and stability here. And coming on up. Twist the side, roll up, and twist. Draw it up using those obliques. If you feel like you can go for a little bit more, see if you can extend the legs all the way straight. If you're like me, you might have living room things in the way, so just make it work for you. Coming in close to that body with bent knees is just as good. Beautiful. And then this time, let's go ahead and allow the legs to float to the left and release. Shoom. Feels good, right? We can take that left hand, place it on top of our legs, and then go ahead and float the gaze in the opposite direction if that feels right for you. Inhale both knees up to the sky, and then slowly lower, triple slow time, and release. Feels good. Taking that right hand, placing it on our legs, gaze can float to the opposite direction. Then when you're ready, drawing those knees back up once more, grabbing your two big toes with your peace fingers, and coming into a happy baby. Just rock them back and forth. And maybe we can't quite grab the toes, so maybe we're at the calves, or maybe we're at the back of the hamstrings. It's all good. This is all yoga. As long as we're moving at our own level, that's what it's all about. And then when you're ready, drawing in those knees into your chest, drawing that forehead up to your knees, and then squeezing everything you can. Squeeze as tight, tight, tight as you can with your face, your arms, your core, your legs. Squeeze, tight ball of energy. 3, 2, 1, release. Shoom. Sinking down into the mat. Taking a moment here to situate yourself. See if you can just be totally present for the next couple of minutes by allowing yourself to unfidget. So shake it out, draw in the shoulder blades. Perhaps this is going to be really great to open up the chest. Palms face towards the top of the sky. Legs can fall to the side of the mat. And then just breathe. So in combination with today's practice, I invite you just to feel that gentle, subtle, calming energy. We focused on those beautiful joints, focused on the flexibility and mobility of our body. We also focused on the breath, which helps us move into that parasympathetic, that rest and digest state, in which the body is given an opportunity to rest, reset, and restore. So just allow yourself to experience the echo of that work, that gratitude perhaps for showing up. You could have been doing anything else, but you decided to be here, and that's special. To invest in your health and wellness, to step into that happiest and healthiest self. And when you're ready, begin wiggling your fingers and toes. Reach your arms up overhead. Give me that nice, beautiful stretch. Bring your feet flat on the mat. I invite you to go ahead and just find a little bit of movement of the knees. Moving and swaying side to side. Reach those arms up overhead as you slowly melt to one side, cradling your head for just a moment here in the fetal position. Feeling how sweet it is just to be still. And when you're ready, slowly starting to rise, coming into a comfortable seat. Bringing your hands to heart center, begin rubbing the palms together. And taking that warmth and heat of your palms, I invite you to place it on a particular part of your body that you feel like might be needing a little extra love and attention in this moment. Breathing deep. Thanking yourself for tapping into this time to be with yourself, to be present, to be aware, to be happy, and to be living vibrantly. Bringing your hands back to heart center. Bring the tips of your thumbs to the point between your two eyebrows, or what they call the third eye, so that we may remember to see clearly with intuition. The tips of our thumbs to our lips, so that we may remember to speak clearly with compassion. And the tips of our thumbs to our heart, so that we may live a life full of love. Thank you for joining me today. I close the practice by saying, Loka samasa sukhinu bhavantu. May all living beings everywhere be happy and free. I'm so thankful that you joined me today on the mat, and we'll see you next time.